I talk, you listen. Welcome to my one-man panel of madness. Hey everyone, this is Dr. G.O. Who, and well, I hope you had a good Easter, first of all. I know I sure did. And, one of the funny things is that almost every holiday, you can, like, mix horror movies into it. Like, I know my family always thought it was weird that I would watch horror movies on Easter. But, because we were raised, like, with movies, let's see, Ben-Hur and Ten Commandments. So, as I got older, I found that there were a lot of really cool serial killer movies, demented bunnies, killer Easter eggs, those types of movies out there. So it was great. It was kind of like an Easter horror quarantine edition. Watching everything from Bunny Man, which I actually really enjoyed. I've never seen it before. It was one of the first newer Easter movies. Bunny Man, I think it was actually Bunny Man Part 2 because it was available on Amazon. And it was actually pretty cool. The only thing that was kind of odd was they were using sound effects from the original Chainsaw Massacre. So, I mean, that's okay. But, anywho, yeah, everything from, what was it, Beaster. There was one called Beaster about this really gigantic, weird, I guess it was supposed to be like a rabbit, but it was like a puppet. I mean, it was perfect. Now, I love really, I don't want to say they're really bad movies, but they're the movies that most people would watch for like 5 minutes and say, what is this crap? I'm more like, I love it. I'm a huge fan of Ed Wood, and if you don't know who he is, Google him. Johnny Depp played him in a movie back in 1992, I don't remember. Anyways, but it also starred Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi. Great movie, check it out. So I've always been a fan of these really bad 50s horror B movies or even D movies, the ones where you just know there is no budget. And the very first one I saw was an Easter movie about that. The kid grew up with his sister having her head cut off, and he always hated Easter in a way, so he became a murderer. But the movie was done with no budget. I mean, you could tell. But hey, those are fun movies too, right? It shouldn't all be A-lister movies. So yeah, that was a great, at least for me, was a great Easter. It was fun watching all these killer bunnies, and there's a joke about this. This all started a long time ago. I usually put an image, and not to offend anyone, it's an image of Jesus. It's a cartoon image of Jesus with his brains, and it's zombie Jesus. And I saw that a long time ago, and every year I post it on my Facebook. And the reason for that, quite simply, is one of my friends is a Tibetan Lama. And I remember when we were talking about Easter, he couldn't quite understand the whole aspect of resurrection. In Tibet, they don't have a word for resurrection. The only word that comes close is like rebirth and zombie. So to explain resurrection, it kind of comes across as the rebirth of a zombie. And so as I was explaining Easter to him, he just said, so wait, Jesus was a zombie? And, I started laughing because it was hysterical. I just thought that was funny. He never ever heard of resurrection or anything like that. And, I felt bad because he was looking at me and I was like, oh, you're not kidding. Yeah, okay, so resurrection is not zombie. He just kind of came back to life, and that was Jesus. So every year I post that. And I've always really just enjoyed a lot more kind of horror movies during Easter. So, but yeah, I hope that's what you did and had fun. But this segment is really mostly about news because there's so much going on out there right now. And one of the news that just hit was that officially Comic-Con is canceled. Now, I love Comic-Con. Comic-Con is that time of the year, whether you go or not, if you're not physically there, you can still follow so many of the events on YouTube, right? And it's like really exciting. You see all the new panels, Hall H. So it's that thing that you look forward to right in the middle of the year. And it's usually, in July. So it's like you're halfway there. I'm not a big summer person, so I need to have something whether it's a movie, a new TV series, Comic-Con, to look forward to so that I'm not depressed because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a summer person, so the heat really makes me angry, and I look forward more towards Halloween. So that's why, April, I love April because we're halfway to Halloween. We're about 6 months away from Halloween, which is exciting. So when they announce now that it's canceled, it's like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, what am I going to do now in July? So I'm hoping that they'll do some kind of cool virtual something. I mean, they haven't said anything. On the plus side, if you did buy tickets, you're at least going to get to either receive a refund or, save them or transfer them for next year, which is great because if anybody knows Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, not every other Comic-Con in the world, because now everybody's a Comic-Con, the San Diego International Comic-Con, you will be able to transfer the tickets, next year because everyone knows how difficult it is. Like, you can spend hours in a queue, digital queue, to get tickets. I tried for 5 years. I tried to get tickets to Comic-Con and no success. I moved to California, no success. About 2 years after, I started working at Warner Brothers Studios, and because of my position there and what I was doing, and thanks to the kindness of a gentleman who had been going for like 30 years, like he's been going every year since it almost started, older gentleman, he helped me to get a professional pass. So I was able to go, and that was the year that just was amazing. I had a beautiful room, beautiful suite. I met Peter Capaldi out of just literally randomly in one of the hotels. We got to talk. We took photos. I met Jenna Coleman, who played Clara, M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, it was an amazing time. It's crazy as hell, but it's one of those things where it's like you're in heaven. If you're a geek like me, it's like the cosplay, the people, the parties. I mean, it just goes on. And, Sunday, the last day of Comic-Con, it's the saddest day. It's like, Christmas after you realize, it's all over. You've opened all the gifts. So, when I saw that news, I was like, oh, I hope they let people transfer tickets because it's hard enough to get a ticket. And I know a friend, at first she was disappointed, but then she saw that she could transfer it. So I'm glad. But yeah, what will I do with myself now in July? Or maybe I'll just do my own Comic-Con. One year I hosted Comic Couch where, that's what you do. I mean, last year I wasn't able to actually be in San Diego. I was back in Florida visiting family. So the whole weekend I was on the couch and I just did commentary on various things that were coming out and forced my family to watch, panels and stuff. But yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a Comic Couch 2021 since it looks like that's where we're heading anyways. But other news that really made me excited this week and very happy is that it looks like there's going to be a new Green Hornet movie. And it looks like Universal is, putting together a team. It was announced on Hollywood Reporter, which I'm very excited. So next to Batman, my favorite hero, and I can't say superhero because they don't have superpowers, but my favorite hero is Green Hornet. And I love cosplaying. I cosplayed as him a few times now. I actually was able to purchase a mold, the mask, molded to Van Williams, the original green mask. This person, I forgot where he was. I bought this years ago, and it was about $75, but he explained to me that he had the original cast of the mask that Van Williams wore, and so he'd been making replicas of it with resin. And it's amazing. I mean, I don't like to wear it now because I'm really scared that it's going to break, and I don't want it to break. So I wore it one more time, I believe it was last year at a convention, and I have the whole Hornet gun. I made it myself, made it look all steampunk. It was really cool. But, even when there was a movie that came out a few years ago, and a lot of people did not like it. Actually, I think it was a flop because they did it in 3D. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't. I don't know if I kind of liked the comedy aspect of it with Seth Rogen in it, and I don't even remember the guy that played Kato, but it was a cool movie. I mean, I went to see it. I saw it first night it opened because it is Green Hornet, and I've collected so many of his comic books. I have the entire series with Van Williams and Bruce Lee. So Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's actually really cool news. I can't wait to see it. And actually, this past Christmas, Santa bought me, or brought me, gifted me, whatever, a Green Hornet Funko, which was awesome because I've been wanting that for the longest time. And I always wanted to have a black car so I can just call it Black Beauty, you know. So I'm excited. That's coming up soon. So, obviously, hopefully, it won't be affected by this whole pandemic because I will be pissed. And other fun news. The guys who put together Annabelle Comes Home are going to be doing I guess, a new spin on Salem's Lot. And I remember the two made-for-TV movies. The first one was made by Toby Hooper, and I believe it was the late 70s. And I really enjoyed it because it had, oh my goodness, is it George Mason or James Mason? Anyways, he was Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Disney production, which is my favorite Disney movie of all time. So he was the rich European that lived in the weird house and so forth. But Return to Salem's Lot was another movie I also TV made for TV movie that I really liked as well. I know Rob Lowe did one many years later. I think it was on TBS or TNT. Yeah, I mean, it had some really cool effects, but it didn't have that, I don't know, that quality, that Toby Hooper quality that the first one had. So, hey, that's something else exciting to see. And it's also going to be the very first cinematic version. The last two, like I said, were all three of the ones that they made were for television. So let's see what happens with this one. I can't wait to see a trailer because I know I love vampires. Dracula's my favorite of all the monster movies. So I love anything with vampires. So it'd be great to see a modern, take on this story. So that's exciting. And one more thing that really kind of I'm not sure yet how I feel about it right now, but I learned that Spyglass is going to be doing a new Hellraiser reboot. Now, I don't really like the word reboot too much. I like a new spin, new idea, modern, take. But reboot, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, they did say that the reboot will be loyal, yet evolved. Okay, that's what Hollywood Reporter was reporting. So, again, that was one of those movie series that was a part of my childhood. I was actually kind of frightened of Pinhead because at the time, I think my beliefs at the time, made me think that this is a reality. Plus, one of my aunts had the puzzle box, and I was so scared of that thing. I'm like, don't even play with it. And it wasn't until later I found out that it was just a box with a design. It couldn't even do all the other stuff, And I don't mean like literally summon Pinhead, but some are actually made out of wood, and you can actually move the pieces and the parts. This was literally just a box, a plastic box that had the covering, kind of like just taped on or stickered on. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are some movies that are just so historic, and I do say historic because they are, that to kind of try to remake them and stuff, it's just, it's like Casablanca, Gone with the Wind. There's just certain movies that I don't know. But, for me, Hellraiser is in that category because, again, it's one of those movies that made me a horror fan. And it had so many elements to it that were just amazing. I don't know, just for me. So, we got some new vampires coming. We've got some new Pinhead guy coming. We don't know yet, but I mean, this is all fairly fresh news from the world of sci-fi and horror. But yes, we had some sad news. Comic-Con is canceled, but we do have at least some things to look forward to in the future. I'm still kind of pissed that there won't be any Ghostbusters this summer, but I was really looking forward to that. So I hope you're staying safe, and hopefully you are subscribing and listening to my rants and rambles. And yeah, so stay tuned, stay safe, don't be a jerk. Just remember, you could potentially be killing someone if you're going out there. I've had this conversation with some people in my life who are not taking it seriously, and I have a lot of friends who are in the medical field and are nurses, and I do worry for their lives and what's going on out there. So just remember, you can potentially be killing someone else. So be safe, be kind, and until next time.